want to take a minute real quick. For anybody who's just tuning in, this is the Church Hurt panel. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. You know, if you have a topic that you want to hear us talk about while we're here, put them in the comments. Also want to give a quick shout out to Music Central for allowing us to use their facilities. This lovely, what is it considered? The living room? The lobby. For allowing us to use the lobby to shoot today's episode, man. So y'all tune in, share the video, put something in the comments if y'all want to hear it. But let's continue.
Now let me say something really quick. Now I don't have an issue with the preacher preaching about certain things. I don't think no one here has an issue with a preacher touching on certain subjects and everything, because I don't think no subject is off limits.
No, right.
However, I do think that preachers need to use tact and use wisdom when they deliver the message across, because for that very point, you lose people, and you know, instead of them feeling like, man, I never thought about it like that, they feel attacked. You know, now since I said that, I just thought about something. Now I know churches, they touch on a lot of subjects. Well, I can't even say a lot of subjects. There are certain subjects that they really tap into. I mean, fornication, adultery, money, what else? Those are the main three. You know what I'm saying? Backbiting, this, that, and the third. But what's interesting to me is, are those the main issues that people have? When people, the mental health thing is a serious deal. So people are worried, anxiety, gluttony, let's eat too much.
Maybe that's why they be shouting so much. They know they ain't gonna get the gym.
I'm just saying, man. So I believe that if we want to be a holistic body, we want to be able to talk about everything. You want the man to be not necessarily perfect, but perfect.
Striving.
Give everybody the experience that they need to be able to go on and live life how it should be lived. I mean, there are certain things that you got to tap on. I mean, what if there's a lot of people have issues with anxiety and worry. Like, I mean, people have anxiety attacks and all that stuff like that. People, we need to talk about forgiveness. People need to talk about certain things like that. You know, there are certain things that they be taught in the church. But should be I mean, it should be standard. I mean, people want to say the church is a hospital. This, that, and the third. It is not. Certain churches are not. I'm not saying all churches now.
I mean, war zone.
Right. I mean, certain churches, they're actually doing the stuff or whatever. And another thing too, like our church should be doing outreach. That's like, I'm real big on outreach. It's important to me. I give my money, which we're not going to talk about that. You know, giving is the law, but we're not going to talk about that right now. We're not going to go there. But I mean, it feels good to be a part of something that's bigger than yourself. You don't want to just give money just to take care of the bills at the church. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we helped such. That feels good. But let's get back to the other thing. Worry and anxiety, holding things in. We're gonna talk about that kind of stuff. Like, why is it people are getting sick? Why people got diseases and all that stuff like that? You know, we are so quick to preach. Well, talk to Jesus and tell him all about your troubles. You know, you can't talk to nobody else, just talk to Jesus. If I can just raise it, stop, y'all. Stop. That's killing people. That's hurting and killing people. And, you know, and I know that from experience. It's killing people. You know, it's okay to get in the pulpit and say, you know what, talk to Jesus, yes, but you can talk to a therapist too. Whatever you got going on, you need to talk about it. Get out of you. You need to see a counselor. It is okay to speak. Like if you're angry, sit down and talk about it. And they gotta figure out or find out why you're so angry. Confront that. Get that out. You know, have y'all ever heard that in the pulpit?
Man, I got more help in therapy than I ever gotten in church.
That's real.
Like, just being able to say what's going on in your life, not be judged, but instead help you to put logic to what you're going through. I think we're so into like putting faith on stuff that we forget about the works part. We forget about the work we have to do, the things we have to tackle in order to achieve these things. And I'm like, I want both, you know.
Right.
I'm gonna mix them both because I believe that I'm gonna get better. I believe that, you know, I'm gonna be successful in all this. But I'm also gonna have these tools like therapy, like exercise, eating right. All of these things matter into what God has planned for me. So I think church, we really have to discuss the whole picture instead of the pieces that fit our motive and mentality. Because
that hurt part what he was talking about with that hurt part, and a lot of us that go to church, we dealing with some things that has us in bondage as far as hurt, whether they come from family, friends, church, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Therapy will help you release a lot of that stuff, because until you release that stuff, you're not going to be able to walk in forgiveness at all. Because you really don't want to put yourself in a position where you bring all that stress on your body, like he was saying. And then, you don't want to carry around and let somebody have that much power over you. Because you walking around carrying them, or carrying that hurt, and or that rejection in your spirit. You give them control. You give them control. You know what I'm saying? So for even for that, get some therapy, get some help.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it, man.
No, it's not.
Right.
And I don't. It's been a stigma, like this generation. I think this generation's been extremely accepting of getting therapy. But the older generation,
man.
No.
Here's my problem with them though. Okay, so they didn't want, a lot of them didn't want to get therapy. They didn't want you to get therapy, any of that type of stuff. But if you try and go to somebody in the church, you get exposed.
Oh my Lord.
You get exposed.
Oh my Lord.
No
confidentiality.
There should be
at all.
I'm like, how wicked can you be? Like, this is your brother, this is your sister.
Right.
Paul wrote about this. He said, if you see your brother or sister taking over in a fault, you are
spiritual restore them.
Like, you are to restore them. But no, you out here, it didn't say expose them, it said restore them.
You need to get a message.
But you out here,
you be like,
you out here exposing folks. You don't tell them exactly. You don't put the name out there, but you preach on their whole situation.
And you be sitting there like, and you try not to look a certain way, because then folks be looking like,
I'm light skinned.
that word must be hitting you. If you look at the kind of way that word hitting
my face don't tell on me.
and you looking like, dang, I want to share that.
And you know what? People be like, I wonder who they talking about.
Right.
Oh, they gonna know they're talking about me, because I'm looking like, woo.
But see, and that's why people don't be wanting to open up and trust people either. That's why they don't want to open up and trust.
If there's anybody we should be able to go to and talk to, everybody might not have money for a therapist. You should be able to go to your brother or sister in the church. But you can't.
You can't do it, man.
Now, granted, I know personal, like Jeremy.
Right.
Y'all, I'm like, if I know I can say something to y'all, I ain't gonna tell everybody and then mom.
Because it's nobody else's business. And really, it's not our business.
I learned that.
We are here to help.
I'm like, but when you have that much trust in somebody, you know you can confide in them and be like, look, man, I just gotta get this off my chest, man. You know what I'm saying? But like, you can't do that in church these days. Not with a lot of people. You have to be very careful.
Hey, the next message gonna be, when you don't know what to do with sin, such, and then you looking like.
Like, now I know I just.
And then you have to ask yourself, would you want somebody to do that too? Do you like it when people do that to you.
But people don't think about that. They don't care.
Yeah,
But none of us are above that.
That's true. If I haven't learned anything, and it's crazy, it took one of my former students to tell me this, and she said, "Oh my God!" And at first, like she was like, "Man, you know, Dad, you do this, you know, for everybody, you help, da da da." So I look at the same thing, church. Man, you be nice, you know, you smile and hug everybody. I ain't got no problem. Nobody hug. She said, let me tell you something. She said, even same thing, I look at it from the church and when I used to help my students. She said, man, you help everybody, you get food, da, da, da. She said, no, don't take this the wrong way. She said, people don't give a blank about you. And at first I was like, what? She was like, listen to what I'm really saying. She said, people don't care. She said, and when you get that mindset that, like I said, people don't care, they'll wanna, you know, try to throw you on the bus or attack your character because of whatever reason. And I was like, and it actually helped me. And since then I took it in, I was like, no, I appreciate that. Because in fact, like I said, when you are doing what's best for you, you know, whether you have to lead a church or do whatever, people don't care. They just like, whatever, they're gonna form their own opinion for whatever it is. Oh, he couldn't handle the word. And I'd be like, so if I leave my parents' church, I couldn't handle the word. I was born and raised up under this 24/7. So I'm leaving now because I couldn't handle the word. I'm 41 years old.
Which word?
So I'm like, which one? I done heard every last one of them.
I mean, you only got so many levels, like how many words?
So I'm only leaving because I can't handle the word. I'm like, no, that definitely is not one of them.
You're tired of shenanigans, man.
Right, and a lot of times, man, especially being a PK, and it's interesting because I used to say it all the time, and it's becoming more of a reality now. And it made me think about the movie with Jim Carrey, Me, Myself, and Irene. So it's like me, myself, and the church. You, as a PK, you deal with multiple personalities. All right, you dealing with, number one, who you're trying to become, and just being a kid and growing up, you want to be successful from seeing stuff on TV as normal. You're dealing with who your parents say who you should become in God. Then you're dealing with who your parents say who you need to trust God to show you who God wants you to be. That's three different. Then on top of that, you're dealing with, of course, peer pressure. You're dealing with everyday life.
Everybody watching you.
So everybody watching you. So you like, so literally, you got three different things going on. All right. Then you try to share that. This thing on, here comes the scripture. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And you looking like, no, I'm trying to figure this thing out because I got all of this going on. Y'all telling me who I need to be. Then you saying, y'all trusting God to tell me who I need to be. I'm just trying to be a regular person. Now y'all saying, y'all need to listen to God for myself. So there are 4 or 5 different things going on. And I'm sitting there, look, I just want to be a regular person. I want to be saved, love the Lord, take care of my family. I just want to go home. And I told my wife that, I said, babe, I said, if we want to move in, wherever God, may lead us, whatever, I say, I'm not even gonna tell them that I play drums. I'm not even gonna tell them that I'm a musician. I said, I just really want to go sit. I said, I want to just go sit. I said, have my family with me, listen to the word. And I just want to, I said, honestly, because I'm just at that point, I said,
That's
in
sad,
life.
bro.
It is.
That's sad.
Because I do, like, even if she say, well, hey, since we got time now, let's go visit somewhere. And I probably, the first thing I said, yeah, all right, I'm up to business. So we ride by. I was like, okay, we normally plan in this area or whatever, so we stay in a hotel close to this area. I said, and I ride by, I'm like, if it says anything, Pentecostal, delivered by faith, what? Nope. And she just started laughing at me, and I was like, no. I said, I already know how it's gonna go. As soon as I walk in, there's something about you, man. I'm like, no. Just because, like, I'm a real chill person as it is. And like, I don't have to be in the forefront. I don't have to have a microphone in my hand to be effective. I just want somebody like you said. I can be, whether it's playing at a jazz lounge club or whatever, and just being there at that moment, like you said, could literally save somebody's life. Somebody could have had too much to drink, and they could have said, man, you know what? After sitting here listening to the music tonight, it calmed me down. I was about to go do this. But you know what? I saw you up there playing. I was like, man, he has such passion with, you know, the way he's doing it. And I just want to tell you after, man, I was getting ready to go blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I've had it happen even working at VSU just by being myself, being who I am,
Exactly.
not beating students down. I've had some getting ready to go jump off of the parking deck building.
Yeah.
Came by my office and was like, hey, I saw your light still on. I didn't know if nobody was still here. And I'm just going through a lot. And I was about to go jump off the parking deck. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I was like, geez. But just by being, you let the enemy beat you down and just,
Yeah.
at that moment, they need somebody to talk to and get it out. Beating them down, trying to make them understand the word. Everybody wasn't born how I was born. And somebody told me that the other day, it was just like, man, if I had like you had, man, I'd be better off in life. I said, had like what? I said, you mean to say born in the church 24? I said, no. I said, no. I said, no. I said, no. You got this thing mixed up. I said, yeah, I might have had the spiritual stuff. I said, but the natural stuff, I had a lot of struggles because I was green to the world. Like completely green. So here I am, old enough, married, now with family and kids. So now, things that most people might experience when they were 18, 19, 20 years old, I'm having to decipher through a lot of things and gotta use more wisdom because now I'm like, I got too much to lose.
Exactly.
But trying to explain that to church folk and say that like, hey man, I'm kind of feeling like this, Oh, you should be over that now. You should be to a spiritual maturity. And you looking like, why? Because
Temptation don't know no age.
right. But like you said, you try to confide in church folk, oh man, you hear across the pulpit, you be looking like, dang, I was just trying to open up.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? We're taught to walk by faith, but when we actually do it, we get judged for it. Like you said, you go out to play, you go, like Matt will do an event.
Yep.
It's crazy how when we work walking in our purpose, we get judged for it.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people don't understand, we hear from the same God.
Yeah.
Like, we work within the same spirit. So when people say, I'm on a higher level than you, like, how?
Yeah.
It's the same spirit.
Man, listen.
Like, we're so into titles and like,
Yeah,
you know.
that's the gold, God.
And it goes back to slavery. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Arrogance.
the only black people that had titles, it was part of a church back then. When they first were being free,
Yeah.
all of it, you know, we got these positions and it went to their head.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's so many people that miss their humility and just humanity as a whole.
Right.
Because they let this title go to their head, they let, you know, its power.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, what is that benefiting?
And if you don't fall into the clique, and if you fall outside of the clique and think for yourself, then it becomes a problem. And it's like, well, you the problem, you causing this, you always saying something. It's like, wait, because all I'm saying is it's okay for people to think for themselves. You know, and that's what happens a lot of times.
Yeah.
When people start thinking for themselves, then it's like, so you got a problem with me because I think for myself? Like, well, how does that work? Like, shouldn't you want to, you know, train your members or whomever to spiritual maturity where when you're not around, they ain't got to call you 24/7 for something. They can say, hey, you know what? I trusted God for myself. I prayed. I got up and put in the work.
Look.
And it happened. So that's how I am. Like, hey, it's whatever. Like I tell my friends all the time, like, I don't have to talk with y'all every single day or 24/7, so that way you can know that I love y'all. I said, didn't you teach me, you know, how to stand on my own?
That's right.
How to man up on my own, how to take care of business on my own.
Yeah.
I said, y'all talk about, okay, when I was a child, I did childish things. When I became a man, I put away childish what I said. So I'm using the own scriptures and the word. So, you know, I shouldn't have to do that. I said, but I can't rely on y'all for, you know, those type of things, man. So yeah, this can be a segment 3000.
Real talk, it's pretty deep. It's pretty deep. I totally agree with you know, everything that's been said. It's almost unfortunate that we have to have these kind of talks.
Yeah.
I mean,
studio art.
It's necessary because a lot of people going through it in silence.
Yeah.
Because they ain't got to go back and not having nobody to talk to. You
Yeah,
can't
that's
tell nobody
Yeah.
because you feel like they're gonna put your business out there in the street.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah.
know, somebody need to hear it so they don't have to don't stay there. You don't have to feel bad about it.
right.
You know, you don't have to suffer in silence.
Right.
Learn to forgive and move on. Because
Yeah.
them is not thinking about you.
Yeah.
That part.
They're not thinking about you. They going about their life and you run around carrying them in your
Right.
spirit.
They done hurt your feelings and did dirt to
Yeah.
you. They don't care and you hurt, you stressing, and them people living their best life. And you looking like,
Thinking about it.
trash.
Right,
Right.
You know, you don't about their business.
Yeah, we're not telling anybody to leave the church.
right.
Oh,
right.
no, that's not what we
Yeah,
saying.
when I said don't,
Not at all.
not at all.
I'm talking about one that's hurt, right?
However, you know.
Be led by God.
Be led by
Right.
God, period.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the most important thing we try to stress. I mean, everything that we dealt with is because, you know, we felt like, you know, well, this is what it should be, you know, and it's not. You know, it's not. We shouldn't be stressing,
Right.
trying to make it back to church on Sunday when
That's
you out with your
the
family.
overall thing.
You shouldn't be out here stressing. You know, you working. You shouldn't be out here stressing that you missing church. Worried about what the people of God gonna think. You know, that's not what it should be.
Right.
But unfortunately, that's what it's been. So
Right.
so we're just addressing all that. You know, and I mean,
People
a
of
hit
God.
dog gonna holler.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're feeling some type of way, check the man in the mirror.
Right, and then also, you know, a lot of times we won't move when
Yeah.
we need to,
Yeah.
and God has to allow things to push you.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna move on your own because you
That's right.
ain't gonna move on your own.
Right.
Even a lot of times stuff come up and that's gonna shift you.
Yeah.
Cause you ain't gonna do it by yourself. Cause you ain't gonna believe that. What? You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? You
You're
ain't
right.
supposed to be. You know,
Yeah, right.
you may not feel like you're supposed to be going nowhere.
Yeah.
But sometimes stuff happen to get you. You know, to get you
Exactly.
to the next place. Or
Yeah.
wherever you're
Like a
supposed to
fire
be doing
up
next.
there.
And you know
Light a
what?
fire under your behind. Cause otherwise you're not gonna
Like,
do it.
I even think about, you know, on the story of Moses, like, God literally hardened Pharaoh's heart
Literally.
On purpose.
To get it on purpose.
on purpose
Mhm.
to get him to
That's-
a point where
that's
he needed to be.
Mhm.
So
That's
why wouldn't he do the same thing when it comes to church? Why
Right.
wouldn't he
Mhm.
cause someone's heart to harden towards
To
you
get you to.
to get you to
Get
go
you
to
to-
another
That's
place
pretty
you're
strong,
supposed to be?
man. That's some good stuff.
So like I think, you know, we have to keep that in mind. Like no one owns us but
Right.
Christ. We're not something that can be owned. We can't save anybody. All we can do is present Christ, present what we know from the Word, and let God do
Let
the
God
work.
do the work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I think we try to take on this responsibility, and it's not ours.
Right.
Like I remember, my mom told me a while ago. She was like, "Jeremy, you gotta stop carrying people's problems, and they're not yours." And that brought so much healing to me because I was like, you know, you want people to be better and
Right.
you know live a better life, but it's at a certain point where you gotta let them do them. You know, you can't carry on what everybody else is doing. You have to focus on you and what your life is like in Christ. Like, you know, I think we can be burdened by, you know, other situations because we feel for people.
Right.
We have a heart for people, but when it comes to the point where it's more of a burden to you than it is to them, that's when you're overtaking, you know, their situation. So like, especially when it comes to church, man, it's a point where every time you should be seeking God. Like if it's not pushing you to seek God for yourself, if it's not giving you the tools to seek God for yourself, like what's the point?
Yeah.
Because like, Lord forbid, but what if this leader were to let die? You just up there looking like, well, God, I don't know what to do.
Right. You don't know what to do.
Like, you know, I think we hold people in such high regard that like we can't hear from other places that God wants to speak.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, if it ain't coming from that leader, you
Yeah.
can't hear it.
Right.
look, for me, God speaks to me through movies. Like, I'm a very visual person. I even work in video. So he speaks to me through movies in a lot of ways. And like when I see the word, like especially in films, when I see the word play out through films, I'm like, okay, God, I can equate this to your spirit because I'm programmed that way.
Right.
So I think we all have to learn ourselves, and we all have to be just straight up honest. Like, am I supposed to be here? You know, is this giving me what I need? Is it feeding me the way I need? Am I growing here? Is everyone around me growing? Like, am I causing problems in the church? Sometimes we need to leave so stuff in the church can be healed as well. You know, so like, I think you just have to evaluate yourself. That's why, you know, it's important to keep on looking in the mirror, saying, what ways can I improve? Because you may be blocking yourself as well as others. Like, you know, if it wasn't for Miss Karina, I wouldn't know how to leave a church. Like, you know, it's like the simple steps that you take, it can affect a whole generation of people. Like, just being the trailblazer, being the first one. Like, I think it's important that we remember that we're not living just for us. We're living for others. We're living for, you know, to help other people out. So I think when we get back to that state of like, it's not about me, you know, it's about God and what His will is for me, we'll live more fruitful and successful lives in church.
See, I didn't even know that. So that go back to stuff we was talking about in the prequel before we even started.
Y'all missed a lot of juice, man.
That go back to stuff we was talking about before we even started. Like, I mean, I didn't even know that. So
That's interesting. One thing that I've been real big on is self-examination. Examining myself and really getting to know myself and be really in tune with what's really going on. If I react a certain kind of way to a situation, why did I do that?
yeah.
Like
Is it still something going on the inside?
Whatever it is, it's like, okay, so let's look at that, because there's something there. Like, okay, because I don't want that to hinder me from the next step. So, you know, self-examination is real important. And sometimes people, well, I'm not gonna say that because
Go on and say it, bro.
there are certain things that you don't have to pray for. I know people say, well, you need to acknowledge God in all our ways, this, that, and that, or, you know, I understand that. However, if you want to become a better person, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, if you're really honest with yourself, God will expose you to you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If God knows what you're trying to do, like He will expose you to you, not nobody else. Because I mean, the thing is, I can go up on somebody and they like, oh, they just ticked off or whatever. But like, okay, in my mind, like, oh snap, what the hell is going on? Like, is it? Well, let's examine this. Why am I doing this? Is it because of something else, or did that trigger something? Because we all have triggers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We all have triggers. So like, okay, so if that's a trigger, if somebody says something that triggers something, let's look at that real quick. That's an issue, that's a problem. You know, there's three people you gotta be honest with. You gotta be honest with yourself, or be honest with God, be honest with yourself, and be honest with your doctor.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, cause the thing is, you can say, I'm eating blah 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 blah.
Right.
I mean, all day.
I'm just staying away from that fried food.
But your blood test says your heart.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute now.
So you been eating your vegetables, you been staying away from fried food? I mean, I was eating oats.
That blood work gonna tell on you though.
Blood exposes everything. Like,
What I see?
We can't weed from A-Town.
I see KFC in your churches.
Jerky chicken and
I'm just saying something, bro. You really said something, that self-examination, see, because hurt people.
Yes, that's
you know,
true.
so if you're just going around in life and not dealing with things that whoever it is that hurt you, you know, here you are now you trying to go into a relationship, you trying to get married, you trying to have kids, and you got all these issues that you haven't dealt with. all this baggage, you're gonna contaminate and damage your relationship, your children. You're gonna pass that foolishness off to them. So I mean, it's self-examination that is very important, man. David said, "Create me a clean heart." So I'm like, you have to examine yourself. A lot of times you don't need to be like, "Hey God, if there's anything inside of me," you already know. A lot of times you already know.
See that person that offended you, and if you still feeling salty,
look,
that's how you know that, man.
And you hate I thought I was good.
That's because you ain't seen them in a while.
That
It is like it's out of sight, out of mind. But you mess around and see them, and you still feeling salty, then you still got some bitch.
So and that's a big thing right there, man. So energy is real. Energy is real. Like you can walk in the place, and like all of us, we have good energy. It's positive energy going on.
Yeah.
But somebody can walk in that door and have negative energy, and it would drain this room.
Have all the same looking crazy.
Snatch the air clean out.
And it's like, and that's it's something to be said about that. Like okay, and it's bad to go inside of a church.
Yeah.
And it's like zip. You could be like, oh man, I'm gonna go to church. Woo, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And once you walk out of there worse than you go. Now, let me one thing I was gonna say, and now we're talking about church hurt and all that stuff like that. Now, this doesn't mean because you got hurt in the church that you need to leave the church. No, leave that church. No.
That's true.
What it means is you need to work it out.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to get it out, do what you need to do, and then move on. Whether it's at that church or someplace else.
Right.
Exactly.
It's just that simple. I mean, but I don't people think that.
You get hurt, you jet.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
Sometimes it could be a simple misunderstanding.
Yeah.
True. Or you just feel like you're stuck, that you can't go anywhere. So it works both ways.
Right. That's true.
That's a bad way. That's down bad, boy. Down bad.
Woo.
That's very true.
So and to me that's important. People need to be. I use the word liberated. Maybe that's a bad word. However, in the sense of, being liberated from people. Not bump that jump. I'm doing what I gotta do. It is what it is. Whether it's church, people, family, it's fine. Accept it, move on, and keep moving. Everybody has family members or church members that really don't too much care for them. It's fine.
Right.
It's okay. That's not my problem. That's their problem.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's something they got to give an account for. So I mean, it's just that. What were we gonna say, man?
I was just gonna, like you had already said it. Really, yeah, I was. I don't remember. It was something you had said that I was gonna.
Yeah, but like that doesn't mean to leave the church if you get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, we ain't really. We're not saying that. We're just addressing a lot of the issues that have went on for years.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just swept under the rug. Well, I mean, I ain't never seen a pastor apologize in no middle.
Yeah. That's real.
I ain't never seen that.
Look,
Like-
haven't apologized to their wife, privately or publicly.
Yeah.
Assuming that I know they did something, because what that goes back to not exposing. They ain't expose themselves. I ain't never seen a pastor expose himself.
No.
Like, I said this to my wife and I was wrong. I ain't never seen that.
Yeah.
But have I seen him expose his members? Oh yeah.
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 And it's crazy, like, we see a lot of, like, churches where the leaders are getting exposed, and it's like, you want us to feel sorry for you, but at the same time, when it's us on the other side, it's like, we just going to hell because, there's no chance that we have a way to, make amends. And I think, we just have to get out of that mindset, like, we all need the same God.
We all need
The
that
Bible
same
says, all
grace.
we like sheep, there's no, you not a sheep, is all we like sheep.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you have pastors that be the lead sheep, but at the same time you still a sheep.
Yeah.
Right.
And we all fall under, God's authority and God's rule,
They a lot of most pastors think of themselves as the shepherd. Like they are
The Lord
the
is
shepherd.
my shepherd. The
The
Lord,
lead sheep.
the
Mhm.
Lord is my shepherd.
It's the
Yeah, we was taught that years ago by Bishop. He said, all we like sheep.
I just like I can remember a time where I was at church and I was just by the end of service, man, I was like kind of just gone, bro. Like I was like confused and I was vexed leaving service.
Right.
I was confused and annoyed. That was like the two emotions that I had going a lot of times. Cause I'm like, I shouldn't be feeling like this.
Right.
But I just like, I mean, and that's what you have to ask yourself sometimes. Like you have to look at the whole thing, man. Like I'm like, man, why am I feeling like this? Like what's going on?
like you're always in trouble for something.
Like I feel like I'm always getting got onto, and I mean, and it's like. It's petty little stuff too. With that,
Yeah.
like it would be like petty little stuff, and I just had to I was like, yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. It definitely makes a lot of sense, man. It definitely raises a lot of stuff, like, and this is not what we're talking about right now. It's not all.
Right.
No, not all.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff, and people go through stuff in church, and it's not me personally. I don't see it no different than somebody going to work.
Oh yeah.
People go through stuff at work.
Yeah.
Go through stuff.
Yeah, they get down at work.
Oh,
Like in work situations,
Right.
Just
people in your own, your own people in your own family. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it happens in every aspect of life, not just in church.
It's funny though. Some people will be quick to say, "Well, you have problems at your job and your boss are you in a kind of way, but at church, the preacher tell you something, then you want to get up and leave."
No.
I can leave that job.
That part.
Go find another job.
start paying me.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
you want me to?
I was like, if you want to look at yourself as a supervisor, if you want to put yourself in that same capacity, I mean, I feel like I thought that church wasn't supposed to be like that. This is supposed to be. I'm supposed to be like, this is where I come for like liberty, and peace of mind and the praise and the worship, not to deal with more drama. So if you want to put yourself in that same capacity, all I have to say to that is, well, thanks for letting me know where your mindset is at.
Yeah,
Right.
at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of imperfect people in one place trying to get it together. Just trying to get it together and keep it together.
Right.
That's it. Just a bunch of everybody, just a bunch of imperfect people in one place trying to get together. So issues are gonna arise.
Yeah, exactly.
Issues are gonna arise. Just how you handle them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it's supposed to be a time of enlightenment and enjoyment.
Right.
You enjoy being, like, I enjoy being around you all.
Right.
Y'all got,
Fellowship.
yeah, y'all got great energy. The conversation's great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it should be. I'm comfortable. Everybody's comfortable. It's not I mean, even if somebody were to say something that I don't agree with,
Right.
it's cool because everybody has an open mind enough to hear.
Open.
perspective. And I have an open mind enough to listen. I never thought about it like that. And it's okay.
Right.
But in church, if you disagree,
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Well, let you go to your pastor like, well, there was something you were saying, I didn't agree with it. Can you explain? Boy, you just said, oh my God, boy, by that next week rolling around, you better be.
You want a gasoline slide?
Oh, it's a wrap. And that's the thing about it. You should, be able to just say, well, you know what, I didn't quite understand this, and not have backlash towards it as if,
That's true.
Now you finna pull all the members out, and you I'm literally just, cause even growing up, I've always been one, very inquisitive. I ask questions, I'm like, but why? It's but why is this? And it's interesting because I see that in my kids now, especially my daughter, very intelligent. So if I say, baby, hey, we gotta start packing our clothes, because we gotta go out of town for your brother's tournament. And she's just but why? I can't say it. Cause I say go pack your clothes. and get mad at her. She's just like, well, why?
Yeah.
Well, baby, we want to start packing early so that but we don't forget anything.
Right.
Because I want to make sure we have your jacket and your jeans.
Mhm.
You just take just and then we don't want to be rushing. Like they should just take the time to explain. And then she's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Cause we don't want to wait till the last minute to pack, cause we may forget, my shoes. You're right. So, but don't question me, cause I'm your and it's just like I'm just saying why. Like even when even my son who's 13, I had to go back and kind of cause my wife's like, well, babe, you just asking, cause I'm like, well, son, did you pack your jersey in there? And he's like, why? I'm like, cause you need to have all your jerseys. And he's just like, the coach said all we needed was this one because we wearing this one jersey, Oh, okay, my bad, you're right. Because he in the team chat, I'm not in there. So I'm getting on to him and fussing. You don't question me, And he just said, and all he said was why, because coach said this the one that we're wearing. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he the one in the team chat. I'm not in there. So he pretty much has to relay the message to me to let me know. So I had to be like, well, oh, you right, and just be like, oh, my bad, son. I'm sorry about that. And I notice if I do stuff like that, say I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Because I know when I do that, then I notice how, how more receptive he is, and the more he'll come to me and open. Because of course he goes to my wife and he's like, Daddy kind of tough on me, da da da. And he said something, I think it was yesterday, and I was just like, well, son, I said, when you're 13, I said, I'm just helping you to mature. I said a little more, I'm just teaching you some things like that. And so, my wife, she was just like, well, baby, you gotta remember, some 13-year-olds, they act like they're 16. She said, he is literally a 13-year-old kid. His puberty, he's growing, but that maturity side of him, he still wants to watch cartoons and stuff. And I love that about it, because I'm like, hey, you are really a kid. I'm always like, hey, please stay a kid.
Yeah, that's okay.
Adults problems have their own situations. So
got the DMs and everything.
Right. And so I'm like, you know what? Okay, you're right, my bad, son. I'm sorry about that or whatever. And I could tell he'll start laughing. And so now he kind of mocked me. Now, when you be more, he be like, oh, Daddy came in the house. Well, Daddy was just wild, old people fussing, and he be laughing. And so I know he'll see if I'm gonna laugh if he does it. So a lot of times I'll find it funny and I'll laugh or whatever. And it opens him up to know that, okay, we can have that kind of relationship where he can ask something or say something, and I'm not just gonna jump down his throat because I said something because I'm the adult. And something like shit that I took from you, like you said, you want to have that open relationship with your kids, because you want them to be able to come into, especially the way things are now. You want them to tell you like, hey, my friend's trying to get me to sell drugs or do drugs. Like you want them to open up. You don't want them to be like, if I tell my dad, he gonna kill me. So if I try it, then if I tell him he's gonna kill me. If I don't try it, and then I tell him, he gonna get mad and say, why are you hanging around somebody who's doing that? And that he's being peer pressured. So you want them to be open, whether or not they tried it or they didn't. You want them to open up and tell you. So I mean, that's interesting.
That's exactly the way you should be in church. We should be able
Church
to come to our brothers and sisters, and not have to worry about being talked about during the sermon. I'm like, God didn't give you that sermon.
You tell them what I told you.
Like, God, you ain't talking about to get no revelation from this sermon. You talking about me.
Right. You told them that you had a woman in this.
You got the nerve. You had the nerve to Google a doggone scripture related to this situation, and over here talking about, thus saith the Lord. No, that's thus saith me, because I just told you that. Or I just told your little right hand man that, and he done told me.
We got certain members here that say that they girl come out of the house at 11 o'clock at night, and he da. And at the time, you and the pastor and the family are the only married ones, and then you sitting there on, so they you the only So they like, but if it's 11, they home at 5. So then I'm like, bro, everybody knows ain't nobody else in here single and grown with me, right?
I'm the only single grown man here.
Well, you be like, dang. And so got all the other women in there, and everybody, and then you look like, I'm the only single young male in here.
I'm like, wow.
Everybody, Deacon's 85, and you know he ain't got nobody come out at 11 o'clock at night. Like, wow. Everybody looking like,
So yo over here.
Like,
Looking at the corner, right? In the corner, at least they talking about it. They're looking in the corner. It's y'all looking at it. Look, man. One thing about this pandemic, one thing about me is my facial expressions have always like I just don't hide. I don't keep a straight face when it comes to stuff like that. And this pandemic I have really lost all control now because I got my mask on. You know, so I be making faces at folks. Like, I be making all types of faces, and I be like, now that they done said, you know, CDC's like, yeah, you can walk around without your mask now. I keep mine on.
for that reason.
And for the only reason I know I'm gonna make faces, and I want to make faces, I'm like, look, this pandemic has been good to me. I be talking about people, but I'm like, look, that was stupid. I be over there whispering to them like, man, what is so stupid?
People like, but people read eyes like me. I can be laughing at somebody, but I'm like, and they know like, are you smiling?
Man,
I ain't gonna lie, my shoulders get there. I be like, oh man.
Man, boy. People getting called out in church. Wow.
Boy, oh
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Look, I've had it happen by name.
Oh yeah.
Ain't no hiding it. Ain't no guessing.
And you be sitting there like, and especially when they like completely wrong, and you be looking like, now I'd be wrong if I just get up and just start going off.
Yeah,
like,
if I start throwing, if I start the fisticuffs in here, then I'll be the devil.
You're wrong, and I'm telling you, and I was to that point, like you said, you become, you know, it happens so much after a while. I was just like, yo, you wrong. Like I just started blurting it out, and then it's looking like, oh, you're being disrespectful in service. You're being, and it's like,
Is it not disrespectful?
No.
The other way around?
Right, and see, that's what I was saying. I was just like, so it's okay to sit here and get humiliated when you are 100% wrong. So I gotta stand here and take it because I don't want the membership to feel like they can be disrespectful, but you're wrong. Like you're just plain wrong.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, oh, go ahead, bro.
You know what? It's something like that. You know what I would say? Before service, I'll tell the pastor. Hey, before service, I like to say some God has dropped some good spirit.
But
Magic words.
Yeah, right. That's the church lingo.
Wait till
You know what?
wait till testimony service.
I heard the message today and everything, and it really hit. And I want y'all to know that the pastor was talking about me. However, it's not true.
yeah.
Everything that the pastor said, it was a lie.
Be like, ooh, let me tell you how y'all pastor
So-
miss God in service today.
Like, and it's that,
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I be like, hey, hold up, don't be disrespectful. This is my testimony.
And it just be like, it's like, listen,
Yeah.
the devil's not using me. However, I believe that
Yep.
something was put out in public. It needs to be publicized. The
Right.
truth, my side.
Keep that same energy. You wanted to preach
You know,
about it, so
right.
now it's testimony service now.
Let's do that. All you gotta do is say, God has dropped something in my spirit. That's it. That opens up the door. for
And that's
everybody.
how people church hurt starts, and then people they want to believe because they're like, I ain't even done anything. You looking like I'm just trying to come in, serve, love, and if you're not doing it how somebody else is doing it, oh, you acting funny. You're like, how? Like I'm giving,
Yeah.
I'm doing everything I know how to do.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And it's like,
That's
you know
a
what?
problem.
Look, lies travel faster than the truth anyway.
Yeah.
Any day.
That's people are like, man, let somebody try that with me if they want
Yeah.
to. I'll be like, hey man,
Crazy.
please, God drop, man, listen, this thing is on me.
Word
I
from
need
the
to get it
Lord.
out.
I'm telling
I
you,
need
bud.
to get it out. I mean, they try if they want to. Like me, people don't mess with Bob. They don't mess with me about me. I had someone ask me, so what has God been saying to you?
It's not your
In a
business.
respectful way, I said, it's really none of your business.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if God ain't told you to say something to a person, like I wholeheartedly believe keep your mouth closed.
Yeah. Some
Yeah.
stuff can just be said after church, just hey, da 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 da, but you don't have to.
I mean, but like, if God's talking to me, He's talking to me. He's talking to
Yeah.
nobody else. He's talking
I heard a
to me.
song by J Moss. He said everybody ain't got a word, and that's just straight up. Like everybody don't have a word. Like
Yeah, man.
like
The feeling important is something about just wanting to feel important.
Mm-hmm.
and just, have a title. And it's like, I've just never been one that was just stuck on titles. Like I said, some of my former students, some call me Mr. Carter, most of them call me DC, just initials, hey DC, or some of them call me by my last name, hey Carter. I'm like, honestly, I'm cool with that. I know that I have a master's degree and I'm working on my doctoral degree.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, whatever. Like, that's just me, because I'm like, that's just me. You just know, the people that you're dealing with, and it's just like, okay, whatever. But it's just something because of the title, they want to be reverenced to a certain, higher calling. And it's like, look, just, okay, give what God say give, and but just call it a day, and something I used to tell my parents all the time. I say, you can't compare, let's say if, we're at the baseball game with my son, game lasts, now he's pretty much on the big boy fields, so game lasts literally 2 hours. So, and if you don't have a tournament to go, you can be out there
I already know where you
all day long. And then you hear that whole, well, you can sit out there all day in the sun, and then come to church and act like you want to praise God, or you can't sit in here for no more than 30 minutes. And one time, I said, well, church is considered an extracurricular activity. I said, and what I mean by that is that, you have your regular work day, you have everything. Church is extra that that everybody adds, to their calendar or whatever the case may be. I said, you cannot dictate people's schedule or keep them in church longer than, the Spirit allows, because you feel like, okay, they're doing everything else on Saturday night, so now it's your turn, so now you got them in here, now you can keep them in here for 2 or 3 hours. I said, it's just like with anything, it's everybody's attention span. After about 30, 45 minutes, little kid to adults, your attention span starts. You start saying, oh man, I gotta run by here, I gotta get prepared for church, I gotta get prepared for Monday. You just start, I said, the same thing being at the ball field, I say, okay, the game is supposed to last 2 hours. When the game goes to extra innings, it starts bleeding over, then you're like, dang, okay, our game's supposed to start at 2, but the game before that ran over, so now our game that's supposed to start at 2 is starting at 4:30. That means that our 4:30 game we're supposed to play at 4:30. This game is gonna last 6:30, meaning that the 4:30 game will now last 6:30. Let alone if we got to play the other team who's still playing. So now the 4:30 game not starting till 8.
Yeah.
So it starts affecting other stuff. So it's like, I said, so our attention span, everybody's like, oh man, like, okay, now you got to start adjusting your schedule, because you're like, hey, I'm supposed to be in work at 1, but if I get up and leave, I'm finna get blasted saying that I'm not trying to sit still, listen to what God's gonna say, but it's like, I gotta be working at 1, so technically I need to leave at 12 to get me something to eat, go home and change my clothes, because I forgot my clothes. Now you look at it as a distraction, because you're like, I just gotta leave a little early because I forgot my clothes at home. Well, why the enemy mess with your mind? You should have brought your clothes, and you're looking like, well, dang, I can't help that I forgot my clothes. So you want to bring my clothes to church, get the word, change in the bathroom while I'm listening to the word, trying to get ready for work. And it's like,
just goes to show you how much people,
right,
they don't really be focused on what they need to be focused on when it comes to church. They be focused on the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting with church. Please, I don't want anybody to take it the wrong way. Like, I'm gonna tell you what you said. Now, I understand. However, if I'm at a baseball game and bases are loaded and you got a slugger come up, I don't care if it's the 12th inning or 9th inning, or if a team is going back and forth, oh snap, I'm right in there.
Right.
A basketball game, oh snap, they going back and forth. Football, I don't care. Church, I'm cool with that. But 9 times out of 10,
Man, I can't tell you. Oh my goodness. I've been in that situation plenty.
I'm just, and then praise and worship, okay. Love, praise and worship will be like off the chain, good. Like, you may have to praise and worship. And you be tired, man. It's gonna take me a nap, man. That's party open this thing.
Right.
And the preacher want to say for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Because you just want people to come back for more. You give it, and then that's why you develop series and different things, so people can say, oh, it was good, so let me come back.
You gotta teach, like, man.
Hollywood or even Showmanship, they have a saying like you leave the people wanting more.
Leave the people want more.
Well, y'all churches, y'all don't be leaving me wanting more. I had enough.
Hey, they give it all. They give it all, and you be like, damn.
They glutton in the spirit too.
Yeah,
they feed the horse all the hay, all of it.
I'm telling you, man.
It's very interesting, man. It's
It's just interesting.
I mean, shoot, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes a 3-hour service, I don't know. Sometimes it might be what I needed. That particular Sunday, man.
Yeah.
It might be what I needed. I mean, but it don't gotta be like that every Sunday.
Every Sunday, right?
Like, you ain't in here for at least 3 hours. You ain't church.
We forget that God works in a bunch of different ways.
He
healed like there was a lot of people he healed from blindness. Each one of them were different.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes they try to get the same results by doing the same thing. And God don't operate that way.
Yeah.
You really have to rely on the Spirit to lead. I heard on the church I was going to today, he was saying that, what I got to teach y'all is plan B. The Holy Spirit is always plan A. Like he goes home, does his lesson, whatever that he's gonna present, but in the beginning it should be plan A. Like you're not hearing by the Spirit of Christ,
That's interesting. Could you elaborate on that? You said a plan B, what he's teaching is plan B. What is that about?
So in other words, of course I'm gonna prepare. I'm gonna study the word to give the people what God has given to me. But if God wants to move in a different direction, I'm not going to allow, my own feelings, my own I need to get this
agenda.
My own agenda to stop, God from moving in the way that He wants to move.
I got you. Okay, that makes sense. I just want a little bit of clarification on that.
That makes 100% sense. Now I'm gonna tell y'all something that don't make sense. I was at a church several years ago, playing at a church I had never been there before, and the preacher gets up and he says, when I'm about to preach, the guy gave it to me, but I was like, God, this don't line up with your word. What? But then he said, God responded like, I know what I'm doing.
He got there.
The other person was God. He switched roles.
Hey, that me, myself, and I
He literally got up and said this. He was like, this word God gave me. He was like, God, that don't really line up with your word. He talking about God responded, I know what I'm doing. I'm like,
hey,
that was your cue. That was your cue right there.
Wow.
And he rolled away.
So I was like,
God, that don't line up with your word. I know.
He was like, I was like, all right, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna head out.
That was your cue right there.
I would have hollered.
Even if that was the truth, I wouldn't said that out loud.
Like for real, he really said that was if I had to make a list of top 5 craziest stuff I've ever heard, that is definitely on the top 5. Like he literally got up. That was like he was like, thank God, life, health, and strength, all this stuff. This word. I was like, God, this don't line up with your word. What you giving me? He's like, I know what I'm doing. I'm like.
That's a bipolar spirit.
So how did people receive that?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
They received it like you've seen them receive a lot of other foods.
Just like, amen.
Like,
Preach it in.
give us what he gave you.
And he was like, but it don't line up with his word. So you giving the people something that don't line up with God's word, but he said,
look, that goes to question, what God was he listening from?
Hey, he probably listened to a video.
Taking on a different spirit.
Mercy, Lord.
I ain't never heard that one now.
Oh, that's top. That's top.
I mean,
Oh man.
tell it on yourself.
I might need to drop
I'll put that on top 3.
That's top.
Right, that's right under hearing the guy say he was dead for 4 days and then he woke up. No, he
Oh.
said he was dead for 4 days.
I know you too.
Mercy.
And then I was dead. No, I'm gonna just say how he said it. He was like, I was dead for 4 days. And then I just said Jesus, and then I just woke up.
Stop, man. Stop.
Oh my Lord.
Stop.
Seriously.
I know for 4 days and he's.
He said I was dead for 4 days, and I just said Jesus, and then I woke up. And he was like, I know everybody in the hospital got saved that day. I'm like,
Hey. Man, trust me.
Oh,
I
my
done heard.
I'm like, so how'd you say it? I'm like, show me how you said Jesus when you was dead.
I want to see that pretend you dead.
Yeah, show me how that worked.
I need an illustration on this.
See, man, they people a lot of foolishness in the church, man. They let
Hey.
get inside the
Trust
church.
me.
That was
heard
right
some
up.
stuff.
That was right under.
Hey.
The same guy said,
Oh.
a guy tried to kill me. He shot the gun, and I seen the bullet turn around and hit him.
He pulled a one and just.
He was doing.
Lord have mercy.
Like,
This is real, man. Like, this is real. I just sat here and listened to this.
it's crazy
My
what people
God.
say when they given that position.
Sit down. When they get that mic, I'm telling you, we done heard some stuff, boy. Hey, that microphone get to passing around. I'm like,
Bruh, like, testimony service be out of control, man.
Right. Testimony, but I be like, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
And see,
Testimony service be out of control
my parents used
sometimes,
to get
man.
on to me all the time because I be like, and I used to just sit and be like, and after a while, I just started becoming grumpy, like, like, tell them to stop. And I be like, hey, sound man, hit the mute button because I just knew it was about to go
Cut it,
there.
man.
Because I'm trying, they get it, and man, I was praying one day, and then I thought I was dreaming, but I actually fell asleep. Then I woke up, and I was in the tree, and God said He was raining down tree blessings, how the leaves fall off the trees. It was money. And then when I realized it was actually in September, so it was actually autumn and kind of fall, and I'm like, what? And then God blessed me with the watch. My all-time favorite. God blessed me and my wife with a washing machine. And I was like, okay, they needed a washing machine.
Yeah.
But that's not the real blessing. The real blessing that he needed to wash us of some stuff. I say, what? And I said it out loud before I knew it. I was like, what? Hey, I was just like, I'm done. That's it. I'm like, that is the all-time dumbest thing I've ever heard. I was like,
Hey, hold on, no, you gotta remember this. Okay, a lady came in, I think this was around, like, cause New Year's watch night service be like one of the worst services to have testimony service.
So, okay, watch night. What's the purpose of watch night service? in the first place?
that's a whole.
Hey man, the way I feel, I don't know, me personally, it's just how I see it. I feel like, people be like, well, just in case God decided to come back at the beginning of the year, I want to be in the house of the Lord. I just feel like that's how.
That's why churches. Yeah, it goes back to the slave mentality. Mm-hmm. I promise you, it originated with slavery during the, I think it was, what was it, year was it 1813, 1930, something, I can't remember the exact date, but when they were freed the slaves. So the slaves and the mentality was like, we gotta wait till midnight and we'll be free. So they are anticipating like, when we get over to the new year, we're gonna be free. So I've always felt that when we do that, we literally, after all the blessings and stuff all year, we go all the way back and we start over because we go into it with that same, I can't wait till the new year. Although, like I said, majority of us is like, okay, God, thank you for keeping us down through the year. Yeah. And we take on if God come back at the end of the year, then, which I can understand that mentality, but when we have that watch night service, that's what happened. I feel like it takes us back and we start the new year just like we've done all the previous years.
Yeah, I feel like you can throw that away right along with New Year's resolution. Don't worry, however you was on December 1st, that's how you is on January 1st. And don't worry, because that's how you're going to be on June 1st. Don't worry, because you thinking that these that this certain day is gonna change something, and it's not. Because why? Because your mindset wasn't to change. Hey, why are you waiting on a certain day? Oh, I'm gonna wait till New Year's
January 1,
resolution. I'm being a
2022. I'm gonna start working out January 1, 2022.
New year, new me.
New Year.
I'm still
That's a new-
I'm still yeah.
Like, I'm like, they can throw it all away, because I mean, if the mindset doesn't change,
Right.
then you know you're gonna be the same person you was in 2021 as who you're gonna be in 2022. You can bet your bottom dollar on that.
That's right. I'm telling you, the top 5 of the craziest.
Now, you remember this testimony, bro? A lady came in during the watch night service. She was like, I just got out the shower.
Oh, yeah.
And I was looking at myself in the mirror. And God said he was going to give me a prophet, send me a prophet. I'm just leaving it there. He said, like you was dreaming of a prophet while you was standing in the mirror naked. I was like, what?
Look. I don't get why people give testimonies that bring people down.
Yeah.
Like, the point is to encourage and lift others up, but you be like,
You supposed to
I went to the
testify.
doctor.
No,
They
my
said my sugar was low.
all-time favorite. My all-time favorite. Years ago, a couple of college students cutting to the church. So, you know, I guess, you know, a couple of them was getting saved, a couple of young ladies were getting saved at the time. And one guy, she was just like, that's right, y'all. You know, for those that are single, we gotta continue to take care of each other. We gotta continue to pray and back up. You know, we are our sister's keepers. So when I get lonely, I put on my negligee and I get in bed and I make love to Jesus. Boy,
That.
hey, oh man, everybody was
She had
like,
the microphone when she said
yes. She said, I make love to Jesus. So, you know,
Yeah.
so I ain't gonna say who was somebody out on the back.
I know who it was.
I ain't gonna say exactly what he said. But when you put it in retrospect, you like, okay. So you put on your nightgown, you feeling good about yourself, you just like, okay, just me and you, Jesus. So you think, okay, you dancing in the mirror. Okay, but you said, I get in the bed and I make love to Jesus. I was thinking like,
Jesus is taken.
Like, that's Jesus.
I was like, you ain't.
He's married to the
Hey,
church. Like,
I'm, in my head, you know, I'm gonna like,
I'd have been like, oh, so you just gonna tell us that what you like to do at night like that? So you just gonna tell us, bro?
Or what do you call Jesus?
look.
Like, you know.
Hey, yeah,
What do you call Jesus?
yeah, she
What's
Why we call it Jesus?
yeah, this is Jesus right here. This is Jesus.
I ain't like, I fell out.
Oh my
You
God.
wrote Jesus.
I was like, oh snap, but I fell out and I was like, okay, young, just not getting into God. So I was like, okay, I understand what you meant.
Hey, it happened, man. I mean,
Hey,
just
so, and of course, all the 15 female at that time, but I was like, gee, it was just like, that's right, sis. And I was like,
I'm like, no, it ain't, sis. Like, I mean, but shoot, I ain't just, when you just get saved, I mean, or at any point, like when you coming into Christ, I mean, that don't mean things change overnight.
right, and that's what I think a lot of times, you know, people, even the younger generation, be thinking. Like I said, it's baby steps. Heck, you could be in this thing 20, 30 years and it's still, you know, when you feel like, okay, hey, I'm over this. Like you said, Corinne said was real key. Like, it's like anything, if you not around that person or not an individual, like, okay, I'm doing good.
Yeah.
But if you see that individual, whether it's hurt or whether it's temptation or whatever, and you be like, oh, I was doing good. And so it's like that when you're growing in God, it's phasing. It just, I'll tell anybody, any young person or old person, hey, just set your pace, take your time. Don't try to be like, and I tell my parents all the time, I say, you'll never catch me trying to be like y'all.
Oh, no.
And y'all been in this thing since I've been born. I said, I'm 41 and my parents been passionate longer than I've been living. So I'm like, oh, heck no, I would not dare even think that I'm trying. I'm like, because I'm not even trying to be a pastor, first of all. So I'm not even trying to take on all the enemies y'all don't fall, and the demons and whatever.
It's like they said, there's like you got churches on every corner. So I mean,
There's over 300 in Valdosta.
you don't really need
And
another
I've done
church,
some
man.
research. There's over 300 churches. It might be more. That was
In
like
Valdosta?
about
Oh, yeah.
17 years ago. I did some research, so I'd say it may be a good 400, 450 maybe by now.
Some of these churches need to come together.
Right.
No church, you guys-
On every corner.
That ego.
And you
That's a
got-
whole other
Oh my
conversation.
God.
That's a
Three-
conversation.
three-
Yeah, because somebody don't want to be the bishop. Somebody don't want all the credit, and it's just gonna be too much.
Elect, prelate, all that other stuff.
Yeah,
in
it's
there.
gonna be a whole
I don't even understand none of that.
yeah.
To the third power, all that other stuff.
Nah, it's oof, that's gonna be a mess. I just say, hey, whatever. I used to tell my mom, hey, mom, just sell the church property, get that cash. Why don't y'all move to the beach? They be like, what?
How do you know? Preach on the beach like Jesus did
Bro,
around the water.
they be thinking I be crazy with some of my ideas, but I'm like, no. Think about it like,
Man,
hey,
you can
sell the
get
church, sell the property, you know what I'm saying? And, say, hey, give everybody whatever. It's like, well, what about, my mom said, well, where the people gonna go? I said, I don't know, that's up to them. Hey, I promise you, I said, I'm not even lying. I said, it was like, there, baby, we gotta pray for you. I'm like, y'all want to live y'all best life. Pay your cars off, buy you a condo, and just chill.
Preach on the beach. Have church on the beach.
I told them, I said, y'all better not ever turn the church over to me, especially if I don't want to be no pay. I said, because I promise you, it's going to be a for sale sign that afternoon. We go to the closing and y'all sign over to me. Hey, I'm fielding multiple offers. I'm going to have a drone flight. I'm going to be showing the church.
But see, the thing is, something with that, because you retire or anything like that, that doesn't mean that you stop ministry.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that never stops.
That never stops.
That
Because
part.
you don't have a church or you stop
You don't have a
preaching or
building.
whatever.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you stop. What is ministry in the first place?
I'm telling you.
I mean, outreach, you helping people, giving God.
I told them.
Let's say your whole life is a ministry.
Hey, I told them, I said, y'all don't want me making shit. I said, that's probably the problem now, because y'all know that I'm kind of like a renegade when it comes to it, and I'm a go-getter, meaning that, okay, I'm gonna show you how to flip that money in a positive way, like, hey, no, sell the property, like, because y'all age, y'all really don't need the headaches of this, to be honest with you. I said, church, it's just like working on a job that you're stressing over.
Yeah.
I said, so you really don't need the headaches of this. I'm like, okay, the value of the market done went up. Hey, it's the best time.
And the thing is, like, with your parents, they've been in the game a long time, and like, they could go and mentor somebody else.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
And go set up somebody else and show them from all the mistakes that you've made.
Yeah.
Don't teach them from things that you've done right. I'm a firm believer, hey, if I'm showing somebody else and I'm mentoring,
mistakes.
like when I have mentors and mentees, when they talk to me, I'm like, no, bro, let me tell you through my mistakes, man, where I went wrong and where you had the opportunity to not have those mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm teaching them real stuff. I ain't telling them all the great successes and, about my life and, I've been in ministry and in church and, I've been married 18 years. No, there's some hell behind this stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just to even be in a position that, I am just trying to do things. And so that's just my take on life. I'm telling you, I know they think I'm crazy, but I say it all the time. I'm like, I want to sell the church. Like, damn,
I'm telling you.
they be like, what? I just randomly, I'll shoot a text like, hey, I know a real estate.
Man, you know what? The pandemic really taught us that it's not based on the building.
That's real. That's
A
true.
lot of people didn't even believe in online church.
Oh,
until
definitely
forced
did.
until they was forced to do online
Man,
services.
folks were fussing. When y'all went back to church, though, I started going off. I was just like, here, he got a key. You can go out there and open up and start having it. I did. I was like, because I'm like, no. I said, that's the problem. I said, y'all so caught up in having to do that. I was just like, so you mean to tell me that, I'm going to hell because my son plays baseball on the weekends and I ain't been in church in about a whole year? I say, in a building, so to say. I said, so because I'm spending time with my kids, I'm doing my first ministry, which is family, and there was a family before there was church.
Yo.
So God gonna send me
That's
to hell.
That's power.
Right.
That's power.
I said, so God gonna send me to hell because I'm supporting my son to prepare him for the
You're
future.
not supposed to say that, bro.
I said, so that's interesting. I was like, but you know, I said, nah, y'all don't want me to get the mic. I said, God, because what?
I said,
That was the wife.
I said,
Then you had the kids.
Right.
You had all this other mess.
I said the
Yeah.
same. I said
Yeah,
the same thing.
because there was a family before there was a church.
Matter of fact, there was a relationship with God first. Let me correct myself. There was a relationship with God.
Yeah.
Then there was the wife, and then there was the kids.
Family, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a lot of it is just stands from the churches being out of order with a lot of stuff.
When they think they said God first, they mean people think church first.
Yeah.
They're not synonymous.
Being
Yeah.
in His presence, like
Yeah.
wherever you go, His presence should be there.
Yeah, they're not
Yup,
synonymous.
wherever I go, whether it's the beach, on a vacation with my wife, with the ball field,
Take
sitting
it
there.
around with me.
Hey, that's what's about, cause like you said, we sitting there, we cheering for our son and chilling, and somebody's like, man, y'all a great family, man. Oh, appreciate that. And did y'all go to church and well, yeah, back home, da da da. Oh, okay, cool. And I just sit right there and keep cheering my son. I'm like, hey man, I'm at the ball field right now. You can text me later on, but we can text if you, or you can call me, we talk a little bit, but when I'm in the room, no, we're gonna watch Netflix with my wife and kids, and I'm here for baseball. I'm not here to be talking about, okay, you need deliverance and you want me to pray and all that stuff, which I will. I'll say, oh bro, my family be praying for you, but no, I'm at the ball field right now. My son about to hit a grand slam.
Look.
I'm like, hold that prayer. I'm like, hold that thought. Now, don't go kill yourself, but hold on.
Yeah.
Nah, man. I'm just, I don't know. I think just seeing my parents go through so much and being in it so long, I'm just at that point now. It's just like, you know what?
I'm with you 100%.
I just,
You know what? This is probably gonna be the last topics. I think we all have some amount of parents who worked in ministry in some type of way. Like I know my parents, they were deacons. Of course you have pastors' parents. Like a lot of times kids get neglected because of what the church is doing.
yes.
And I've had to deal with it, myself. Like, I would see my parents counsel a whole bunch of people.
Ooh, yeah.
But like, it's like I didn't receive that same attention.
Right.
It's like they pour into people so much that, we grow up missing out on that same experience. And I think we have to bring that back in. And, when we're growing up, creating our own families, creating our own children, we have to really be like, okay, I remember when I was a kid, I didn't really, get this attention. So let me pour into my child. Let me pour into them, what I missed out on. And I think, when it comes to ministry, like people hold it above everything. Like, if I'm not there, the church gonna fail. Like it shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't be that way.
Like we shouldn't be confined by walls. We shouldn't be confined by who's here, who's in attendance. Like, and I'm pretty sure we've all heard the cliche, if I have to preach to the walls, I do. But when it comes down to it, you won't do it. Like, it's all about, helping people, but at the same time, like Matt said, he called us the family first. Like, of course, God created the space for Adam where he can dwell in his presence. And he needed that. He needed that to say that I can go to God. When they took the fruit and, it sort of disconnected them from God. When Adam was approached by God, God knew all of this. But he was in the mindset of like, I'm in trouble. Let me run from God, even though I know God see all of this. And I'm like, we're in that same mindset of like in parentage, like we don't run to our parents as much, because we've been taught to deal it on our own. And I think that's really a thing that God created, why he made it where you should be focused on your family. Because when you allow others to teach your children, allow others to impart in them, they will grow up with a whole different understanding that you probably had the whole time. But if you don't impart that, like it will cause damage. Yeah.
Very true.
That's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. Do you think God gets glory out of someone putting the ministry ahead of the family? That's a question
That wasn't his intention.
that's a question that we all need to ask
That's good
ourselves.
stuff, man.
Does God get glory out of neglecting your family? Putting like ministry, this. Well, I can't do this right now because I got to get.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's real.
Mm-hmm.
People don't think of it like
You're
that.
right, because most will turn around and flip it and say, well, you're being a distraction because God is trying to speak to me. So they'll basically kind of outcast their family because it looks like, oh, you're being distracted, or the enemy is using my family to distract me from getting what God has me to get.
Yeah.
And in that situation, that's not the case. You know, now if you got family who are just nagging you and y'all are at odds and stuff,
Yeah.
you know, then it's like, okay, you're like, man, you know, there's a lot of distraction coming against me. But when it's, you know what I'm saying, your husband, your wife, and kids, and you're just trying to take care of them, and you know, something comes up, well, oh, Dad, can you do this? No, I'm in my prayer closet.
Yeah.
Then they're just like, well, Dad, you said you was gonna play with me. Well, after I'm done praying, it's like, no, you know, cause like my daughter should do that. Come home tired, and I'm like, man, we gotta prepare to go out of town. Dad, oh, we're gonna watch this movie, and I'm like, yeah. And then, okay, you gonna play with me, and then, like I said, by the time I come home, oh, just let me take, I just need like 30 minutes, and she's like, no, Dad, you said you was gonna play with me, and so I have to stop and say, okay, even though I'm tired, about to sleep. Okay, what game you want to play?
Yeah.
And as soon as I do that, oh, she's just happy. Okay, I'm good now. And after about 30 minutes, she get on her tablet, you know, do her little stuff, and she's good. And so, something you said was really key is like, you know, making sure that I do that, because then if not, even like I said, we at the ball field or wherever, and if somebody else is doing that and playing and doing whatever, then she grows up, and it's like, well, my dad always was too busy to do this. And so, seeing mine, it was just always, like you said, counseling others, ministering to others, revivals, and all this other stuff, and people coming by the house, and you know, oh, we gotta take this member some groceries, and or this member finna come by, and I'm just like, dang.
I mean, there's no balance. Life is all about balance. That's the same person that it goes the same way with the person that works all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Workaholics. I'm guilty of that.
Yep.
You know, personally, I mean, I work. I'm always,
Yep.
you know, so, but now I have to kind of take a few steps back like this. Oh man, it ain't.
It's real, man.
At the end of the day, what's important?
Yeah.
Making his money or time.
Ooh.
Your mental health.
That thing with this. Ooh.
Yeah, so that's the thing, man. I mean, I think the church should teach balance as well.
Balance.
I think that churches should have family day.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
they're like, listen, you know, we're not doing Bible study this Wednesday.
Right.
I want y'all to spend this time. Y'all go to the bowling alley and do something with your family. Go to the movies and do some family oriented. Do something. You know, we're gonna switch it up. If you don't have your family, then we'll get together and do whatever.
Right.
Or let's do something as a family. You can spend time with your family, man. You know, that's just how I feel about it. But you know, if there needs in life, there needs to be a balance.
Yeah.
Everything is a balance.
Yep. The Bible even talks about that in Revelations. Balance, scales. You gotta balance that thing out, man. It's like doing too much of anything or one thing.
It's not good.
It's not good
It's
for you.
not.
Regardless of what
It could be a good thing too. And it still
Right.
gonna be good
And
for
still
you.
won't be good. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can talk about this for hours. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, because there is a lot to talk about, but we want to thank y'all, you know, for taking the time out with us to chop it up a little bit, talk about this subject. You know, we ain't just talking about this subject. We talked about a lot of stuff. Really, it was a lot. There's really a lot we unpacked more than just about. I mean, because at the end of the day, you know, ain't nobody trying to be victims. We ain't trying to play. We ain't, so woe is me. You know, but you talk about these type of things, you know, because somebody watching this may have helped them, you know, or at least validate, man, I ain't crazy, man.
Right.
Because I know other people have dealt with this or is dealing with, you know, so we appreciate y'all coming through. and kicking it with us. Before you go, everybody take time, drop your social media for the people. Anybody else?
My Facebook and Instagram is Karina So Custom. My website is www.carinasocustom.etsy.com. Also, I'm on Facebook and Instagram under Hair Sensational with the E on the end.
Okay, Facebook, and you can reach me Dante Flowers. I have a music page, so Dante Flowers is that up on Instagram, Dante Flowers Music. Also, we have a business page on Instagram, Music Central Performance Academy. Our website is www.musiccentralpa. So check us out.
I'm Derek Carter. You can find me on Facebook, of course, under Derek Carter, or follow me on Twitter and Instagram under DC Exec or DC_exec. Also, you can follow a new business page called Executive Films. So that's on Twitter as well as Instagram. Executive with a K for Executive_Films.
Yeah, you can follow me, Matthew Priest, on Facebook, Unprecedented MP on Snapchat and Twitter, and Matthew_E_Priest on Instagram.
So you can follow me at The Chase Harden on all social media platforms.
And once again, we do appreciate y'all coming in, kicking it with us. I am Matt P.
And I'm Jeremy Chase.
One time.
Yes, sir.